Hello, and welcome to the next edition of H. Paul Models. Going away from aircraft and to my, shall we say, seek and ye shall find ethos on boot fairs, I've got this. It's a part-started Sherman according to the instructions. So, yes, I don't know if I've got all the bits. If I haven't got all the bits, I don't know. So, I'm going to have a bit of adventure. It was £1. If it's only got all the bits, I should do a burnt-out diorama. So, yeah, let's see what we can do with this. As always, distractions are up. Nah, scattered on the board, the sprues. So the board isn't clear, but let's crack on. Right, to start off, it looks like we've got track wheels. So I've got to find part 86, which looks to be this bit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So there's 6 of those. And it's saying we've got to do 6, so that's good. Little triangle bit. There's 1. If I'm getting it wrong, saying the wrong technical names, please let me know, because I don't often build armour. So, oh, we have 1. They must have got lost in the lost. Someone started to paint this already, but yeah, I don't quite know who would have. Yeah, there's nothing there, so let's see what we can do with this. Right. So I've got to get these little wheels, which are these things, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4. Yeah. So let's see if we can't do something with this. So, oh crikey! So that goes on that way round like that, I think. Oh. That feels a bit too tight to me, but it's on there. Oh, that's on there. Let's do this one. Oh, cripes. Oh, look, that's terrible flashing. Look, I can see why someone might have given up with it now. Look at that, look. Oh. So I've got 2 complete now. It's not a good start. Right, so part 24. I have no clue if that's part 24 or whatever. Clear that off. So that's not part 24, that is, by the looks of the instructions. Yeah, that's part 24. Oh, it's numbered, look at that, look, just there. It's just been painted over. 24. There it is. So according to this, I haven't got any. I've got one triangle piece, so I'm not even going to try and assemble that. So these little with me gigs, these things. This is fun. 38. I'm looking for part. I think this might be a lost cause why I haven't started, but I'm going to persevere. I'm not going to give in. Oh, cripes. I'll tell you what, let me have a rummage off camera, a little play, and then I'll show you my progress. So far I've managed to assemble that out of the bits that I've found that sort of makes sense. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. Not because it's missing bits, it's just a flash. I mean, that's one of the drive wheels from this side, and that is just, oh, that's terrible. I can see why this model was started, and somebody probably just thought, I can't do this, this is just too, well, awful, awkward. I mean, I'm going to persevere because that's who I am, but you bought this for a kiddie at Christmas, they're going to go, sod that, leave it in a drawer till they grow up and go to college or something, and then mum's going to find it and put it in a boat fair or something. It's tragic, really, it really is. Yeah, I don't quite know what to say. It's just not very good. So I'll put that on there like that. And that is almost one side finished. I'm missing too many parts for the other. So I think I'm definitely going down the route of a wrecked Sherman. And I can't see what else I can do with it, to be honest. Yeah, that's it's just not very good. You can see someone started it with good intent because the painting's really good, but then it's all just sort of fallen to one side, really. So I've got the other sides here, so I'm going to put them on there as well, assemble this as best as I can, and then yeah, we'll start hopefully assembling the tank and seeing what else we can do with it. Well, I've got the two track sides together with the bits that I've got, which is not a lot. Certainly missing 2, 4, 6, 8 wheels. I can't find them anywhere. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the best that I've got with this. It's fun. So next step is to assemble the tank, the bottom half of the tank. So wish me luck. So put in what I think is the engine compartment doors in there. It seems to want to go in there. Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe it wants to go in that way. I can't work this one out. It just seems to want to fit in that slot, so it just doesn't look right to me. Is there any other pickies anywhere of how this is supposed to go together? Oh look, there's on there. Oh, it's not exactly brilliant, is it? Let's have a Google of what a Sherman looks like from the rear before I commit to sticking that. Yeah, well, I reckon that goes in there. So let's give that a good old squirt of revel. Get it in its place. I think that probably fits in there like that. Certainly looks that way from the photographs. So we'll just try and get that to, oh my goodness, let's sit as square as possible. Next step is to put these bits in. Now I've got to get them around the right way. So you can see I don't build armour often. So that one, I think, goes in there like that. And does it fit right in there, or does it not? I reckon it goes in like that. And it goes in and sits on that rear bit there, like that, I think. Yes, like that. Ooh. That road stuff just a bit squarer. That's it. Oh, crikey. Let's get the other one in. I'm using Tamiya because I don't know where the glue points are on this. It's just not. Oh, do the best with what I've got, which happens to be Tamiya at the moment. Let's get that in there like that. Square that up as best I can. I think that's about it. Right, I reckon that's going to be like that. And that appears to be twisted. So let's see if we can just. That's it. Push these two together. Oh, because that looks like an axle to me. That bit there looks like it's an axle. So I'm going to try and get those two to line up. And see if we can't get them to stick together. It's going to move as soon as I let go, isn't it? Ugh. There we go. What I'm going to do is, I wonder if it's going to be strong enough. The plastic, I mean, not the hair grip. There we go. That one's together. And just get that to fit like that. And then do the same again. Oh, crikey. Like that. Oh, no. Oh, that's got it. I'll give it an extra dab. That might hold it in place. Oh my god, it's wonky as anything. Oh, cripes. I'm going to have to cover this in foliage and burn marks and everything else, I think, because it's awful. Oh, this is fun, though. This is still fun, even though it's not particularly going very well. Where's my tweezers gone? Oh, no. Oh, crikey, I've lost my tweezers. There they are, right in front of me. Silly old sod. Right, I just want to get that, if I can, squared up with that wheel. Like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it would be nice if it was close as. Right, I'm going to let this abomination rest for a little while. And then, yeah, carry on with it. That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Before I carry on with this video, I owe an apology. I've realised what I've been doing. I've been building a half-built model on a green cutting mat. Just old age is not my friend. Anyway, I put a bit of tissue down now so you can see what I'm doing. I do apologise. Anyway, right, the Sherman is incomplete. We've already discovered that. We're going through the parts and whatnot. So this is as far as I've got. We've got to do a wreck. well, I've got to do a wreck. There's no way this is going to be a running Tiger Sherman without the wheels and everything else. So, time for electronics. Now, in my collection of electronics, I have LEDs. I've got various other bits, of which there is a 3mm flashing LED. Excellent. Some fibre optics, little screws, rummage around, see what I've got really. I've got a push button switch, which I think will be useful, and a battery holder. So, oh, I've got a red LED there. Let's see if that works. I don't want to use LED if I've already got one. There's a red one. I think you can see where I'm going to go with this. Yeah, I'm thinking a bit of this plastic pipe, because that will take the light up, as does this rod. This takes light up as well from LEDs. So if I can put a little bit in there, like that, a little bit in there perhaps, if I can find the hole, like that, and then cover it in my foam, and then in the turret the same thing, I can have the tank burning. Now, before I do all that jazz, I've got to think about how the tank was taken out. So I'm going to have a Google and see if I can't find any pictures of Shermans that have seen better days, and see what they look like with battle scars and whatnot. So bear with me. So using these two photos, I can pretty much see what the battle damage looks like. So the side with the wheels, I think I'm going to do the main shell hole, and then the turret will have some damage as well, and then probably not correct, but have an exit hole as well, so whatever shell went through is through and through. Yeah, so let's get my trusty engraving tool out. Oh, crikey. And these bits. I reckon that bit there will do for the first shell hole. Let's get this off. There we go. And I want to do the other side, so through and through, look about there somewhere. Now what I want to do is get me pliers, wherever they ended up, there they are, and see if I can't, oh yes, that's what I wanted to do, so that the shell would basically burst out of the tank. I'm being really vicious with this. There we go. Oh yes, yeah, I think that's good. That's good. What to do with that side? I think I'll leave that as it is. I might, yeah, I think with scalpel. See if I can't make that a bit cracked. I don't want it too damaged because that's the entry hole, but I'm sort of making this up as I go along. You may have noticed. Well, I've had a think. I'm going to put LEDs in the base and then pack the tank full of cotton wool, or the stuffing I've got, and then bring the silver, this plastic tube up to transfer the light up to each portal. But hopefully the glow from inside will come out of the shell holes as well. So I'm going to mark the bottom with a little white paint, because let's be honest, this white paint is about all it's good for. There we go, there's me 3 sort of holes, roughly ish. So if I drill through to the size of the LED, I can stick all the LEDs in there, and then take them through the board I'm going to mount it on, wire it up to a battery, blah 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 blah. So I've selected my LEDs. That one's going to be too big, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure if that flickering one's going to be any good, but I think once it's wrapped in cotton wool or whatnot, it shouldn't be too bad. And these 2 as well. So next thing is I've drilled my pilot holes, size them up, get the LEDs in, and then we can carry on with the build. Tested the LEDs before I put them in, and guess what? Oh well, I'll have to unsolder that and replace it with a steady one instead. Never mind, back to the drawing board. I'm not exactly proud of the soldering job. I've damaged the plastic and taking things off, putting things on. Oh, it's been nothing but a pain. Anyway, I had a spare flickering flasher, so to prove the concept, plus and minus, there we go. So that'll be inside the tank. Right, let's carry on with the build. Phew! Right, when you get a new paintbrush, some manufacturers put a little plastic tube over the bristles. Probably get discarded. I don't. I keep them. The reason I do this is because they do slip over LEDs rather nicely. For this build, to guide the plastic rod that will carry the light up to the smoke and also to light the interior, I'm going to put that over there and then measure that to there with my usual sort of that'll do measurements, like that. So yeah, I reckon that like that much there will probably do. So if we cut that there, put that over there, a little bit of the old Tamlite, Tamiya. Hopefully that will hold it. Excellent. Super glue it is. So then we go to the front hatch and see if that will fit in there. It's probably a bit too long. Yes, a bit too long. Cut a little tiny bit more off. Oh crikey, that hasn't set just yet. I thought that had gone off already. Come on. Right, let's cut that about there, I reckon. Oh, if that'll work, that is. Oh, come on, that's it. I'll probably stick it to myself. There we go. Oh, sometimes I wonder why I do this. Let's see if that's going to fit okay. Yep, that looks alright. Yep, I can see the tube, jolly good. Now we cut the next bit the same length as that. Oh. There we go. And that bit looks about right anyway. A tiny bit off the end, that much, and we'll stick that on there, like that. Let them all go off. It doesn't matter if they're not perfectly straight, it's not going to be a massive problem. Have a rummage in my storage place around here somewhere. Now, air conditioning filter media. These are offcuts from a job that a contractor did, and I thought rather than going to skip, I'll have that because it might come in handy, and it is going to. So, this stuff is very good for packing out LEDs like that, and it will diffuse the light inside the tank quite nicely. To hold it in place is my favourite polycell cement that you get in starter kits. I've got tons of this stuff. Never going to use it for modelling, but I will use it to hold this stuff in place because it is brilliant for this. So a pair of tweezers and just push it into place and just let the glue hold it. I've done this on the Zero Wildcat, I think it's Wildcat Dogfights and diorama. And this is, I'm just using the same stuff. There we go, that will diffuse the light inside the tank, so hopefully it won't be a harsh light, it'll be nicely diffused and look like a bit of a burny job inside the tank, we hope. So I'm just going to pack that in there like that. It will fit inside the tank, I'll make it. There we go. A little bit on the outside here, like this. And I can always trim that back with some scissors if it's too much. Just pack it in there. A bit more at the front. Anywhere will do. Pack that there as well. That's it. I can trim it up with scissors before I put it inside the tank, but just to show you the effect I'm trying to get, if I put that on there and that on there, you see how it glows around the foam. So once you're inside the tank, that will just glow everywhere, and the three colours and the flickering, flashing will mix, I hope. So whilst the clamps are holding it, just going to show you what I was trying to achieve. If I put the red on there and the black on the negative, they'll light up. So you can see the colours are pretty plain there, but when I turn it on its side, much better. And on that side, it looks like a flame, I hope, anyway. So yeah, I should do the same with the little plastic extensions, mix the foam up and hopefully get a good fire effect coming out of the turret and whatnot. Yeah, quite chuffed with that. Part built the turret, I've got the gun bit on. It was a really bad fit, so I've used some filler to tidy it up. The body's now dry, ready to go, so I've plugged the holes with foam so I can give it a coat of #1 primer. Let that go off and then I can repaint all the details on the wheels and whatnot. Then I'm going to give it a coat of rust once I've masked this off. Then I shall varnish it, hairspray it, a coat of steel, and then do some brushing, and then varnish it, and then hairspray it, and then do a coat of US Army green or whatever colour I can find, and then do some more hairbrushing and whatnot. whilst the paint dries on the third and final layer, I'm going to work out the diorama base. So, a roadway in the Bocage in Normandy I thought would be a good setting. So what I need to do first is move that stick square. That's it. Work out my road sides. So using my rule, and I call it a rule because of my apprenticeship. When I was apprenticed, if I called it a ruler, I'd get a slap on the wrist, because a ruler is the queen or the king of the country. That's what I kept getting told, so that's what I'll stick with. So I'm going to mark the side of the tank track like that, and then do t'other side, so I know not to go over these points. Right, so I'm going to do the hedgeways about there, I think. So if we move the tank out of the way, it gives me more. Complete that line there. And that line there. Now for the tank to have received the Panzerfaust, I'm going to need a hidey spot. I want the tank to roll on a bit, so I'm going to break the hedgeway there, roughly, so the tank will be there, so it'll roll on. Now in order to build the hedge, I'm going to use cocktail sticks and a bit of foliage, or type scenic foliage. So that's going to be my line for the hedgerow. I'm not going to put anything there. And another line this side, like that. Oh, that's not very good. Like that. Yep. Put my rule out the way. That can go there. So with my drill set, oh cripes, and this drill, cocktail stick, I think that'll work. So I can't do any there because of the battery pack. So I'm going to have to work it down about here. Oh, that was a bit naughty, but still it's okay. One about there. What I'm going to do is snap that in half. The pointy end goes in like that. My trusty Leatherman tool, and just tap it into place like that. Do the next one. So I'll do all along there, and then I'll trim them to size with cutters or whatnot as I go. So you've got the idea. I'll carry on, and then I'll show you what I've done when I've finished both sides. There we go. There's my hedgerow stalks, I suppose you can call them. I don't know. So anyway, because the roads were so thin, I put them quite close together so the tank can just fit up. Because I do believe in Normandy, the Panzerfaust and the German troops were more, and the 88s hidden in hedgerows were quite the challenge for the crews of these tanks. So yes, I'm going to put the hedgerow, so They're all leaning a little bit because the Sherman's pushed them out of the way, but the Panzerfaust has come in that way and shot the tank. It's rolled on for a bit, but I'm aiming to leave some track in the roadway where the track's broken and that sort of thing. So yes, I shall start doing the plastering of terrain in. Here we go, Poundland plaster, one of my favourite mediums for modelling. I'm just going to smear that onto there. I know what I didn't do, I didn't mask the outside of the wood, but never mind, I'll get round that. So yeah, just edge it into there so it holds them in place. Edge that along there. I want to do it so it's not perfect terrain. It's just a field. There we go. I'm just going to roll. It's going to seal those in like that. Well, here we go, watered down plaster, so I'm just going to wet that, just put that on there now, but put a bit better with the brush, a great big lemon head. There we go. Just wet the board first. I'm not soaking it, I'm just dampening it. I don't want it so wet that the MDF degrades. There we go. Now I'm going to get some of this, wet it, and then drop it in there. Grab that bit that's decided to come off. Oh, come on, that's it. See, it almost falls apart straight away, which is brilliant. And then with the brush, just mould it into where I want it to go. That's it. It will get the idea, you just got to be patient with it. It doesn't matter if all the sticks are covered in it because you want them there anyway, so that's good. So let's just work that onto the road, or what will be the road I should say. Right up to the edge. I like this, it's a bit of fun, reminds me of my school days and papier mâché. Oh, let's be honest. Boys don't grow into men, we're just judged by our toys. So yeah, I'm not too particularly fussed if the road is smooth because it's a country track. I've read a book by James Holland recently, and most of the roads in Normandy were dirt roads. They certainly weren't tarmacked. So let's just paint that through and try and avoid filling the hole up is what I'm trying to do. Try and use as little as plaster as possible, but just enough, or filler, just enough to cover the wood so I can put my tracks in. That's it. Get a little tiny bit more plaster for that end there, not too much. That'll probably do it. There's the roadway nicely covered. Right, tracks in the road. My sister's come along and join me while I do this video. Say hello, Alison.
Hello, Alison.
Right, so tank tracks in the road. You just push the track into the plaster, cotton bud, and just put it in like that, and then pull it out. There you go. One tank track. It will look better when it's painted. And I'll do the same the other side. I use cotton buds, I find it easier. Like that. Pull it out. Let it all go off and there'll be a lovely tank track there. Final bit of weathering for the tank. So I'm just going to take a dampened, shortened bristle brush and just very carefully rub it along the sides where I did the steel and the rust. Now I don't want to go too mad. Just very, very slowly wear away at the green paint. There we go, it's coming up. Cotton bud and just wipe away. Some of the rust is showing through, which is brilliant. I don't want too much rust. Ooh. Wipe off. There we go. So, oh crikey. So there we go. It's a little bit of steel, a little bit of rust coming through. I don't want it too pronounced, but around the shell hole, I'm going to give that a bit of a rub as well, because the paint, I think, would definitely be taken off. Yeah, I don't think the paintwork would have survived this bit. There we go, just take off the excess water. Yeah, so I'm going to do the front now. Just these raised bolts or rivets or whatever they may be. Definitely across the front where it would have come in contact with walls and possibly trees and whatnot during its service in Normandy. Cotton bud and just take off any excess water. So I'm not quite through there. So a little bit more. Again, I don't want too much coming off, so I am going gently on this. There we go, it's starting to come through now. Excellent. There we go. I think that's enough off the front. Take the excess water off. I want to get down to the rust paint on this bit here. I know I bared some, so let's just give that a little bit more. I don't want to do too much and go back to primer. There we go. I think that's more than enough. Yeah, quite like that. It's quite good. I know, I want to get down to the rust on these bolts. That's what I want to do. So just a bit, that's it, we're down. Give that a wipe off now. There we go. I think, yes, there's rust showing now. There we go. So there's a little bit of rust showing now. On that side, it's also marked. So I shall do the other side, that expansion. The bits around there where I did that hatch, this back bit here, and just expose a sensible amount of steel and a little bit of rust. I weathered it as far as I want to go. So the steel's exposing, a little bit of rust, lots of steel loss around the exit hole for the shell. Some steel loss along the skin where it would have hit various objects. I'm going to paint the wheels black. I've only got 4. And these 2 end ones, I'll do them black as well because it just adds to the thing. But the first thing I'm going to do is take my plastic rod that I've got here. There is a reason why I'm doing this. My Leatherman tool, and I'm going to cut some short lengths off. There we go. And then stick them on top of the LEDs like that. The reason being that when I turn the lights on, the rod brings a light out. So another short length. I don't want to push too hard. And a slightly longer length to the turret, so about there I think. Try and find the tube that I cut. Oh, crikey, sticky fingers. And then the turret will go on top, like that, hopefully. To bend that a little bit. The pliers on it and give it a little bit of a kink. Like that. That'll do. And put that back in the tank. There we go. So in now. So when I power up, all the light comes through. Now with the foam around it joining at the top, I'm hoping all 3 colours will combine and give me a nice fire effect from the tank. So I'm going to get on with painting the wheels and then doing the foam coming out of the tank. Yeah, so far so good. Right, fire effect on the tank. What I've done is I've painted some very thin down 33 on the inside and the outside of the shell holes, on the hatches and everything else. So now I'm going to take some of this foam, a pair of tweezers, I'm going to stick some glue just in there. This is the Humbrol glue, starter set glue, just like that. And then as carefully as I can, stick that into the hatch even, not a hutch, not a rabbit. Stick it in there, just pack it in as best I can. There we go. Hopefully that'll all go in there. You're getting the idea, aren't you, already? I can see. In you go, good, in you go. And so we take another long piece and do the same again. Put some glue around the rod. that in. There we go. I've already packed the turret with foam, so all I'm going to do is put my scalpel in there and make sure I've got a hole for the rod to go through. There it is. So we'll just, I did make a parting for a centre parting for it, but just to make sure. There we go. And now, hopefully, this will go over there. He says, hoping. Come on, in you go. There we go, that's through. Now I can feel the end of it. So now with a very small amount of Tamiya, so as not to damage the paintwork too much, glue the turret into place. Right, the foam's in and it's given me almost desired effect. I'm a little bit disappointed the rods didn't carry it as far as I thought, but it's not too bad. It's not looking too bad. Probably look better under a darker light, but there's definitely a fire effect going on. So next, smoke. Take a little bit of thinner, like that. Crikey. A little bit of my starter pot paints. Going to use black. A little bit thinner, brush. Mix it in the thinners. Like that. And then I'm just going to drag it up the foam. I'm not doing it with a thick start. I'll start again. I've thinned it so the paint doesn't drag too much on the foam. I want it to slide over and just look a bit horrendous. I suppose is the word I'm trying to say. Yeah, I quite like this effect. It's not superb. Professional models out there are probably, you know, going, oh my god, that's not really good. But to me, with what I've got, Humbrol and thinners and not a lot else, it's not too bad, I think. Just gonna keep splatting that on. Now, as I said before in a previous video, I don't do dead bodies, so you're going to have to assume that the crew have bailed out. I'm not into that macabre type thing. Not really my sort of thing, I'm afraid. Right. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with a little bit of thinners. And some grey, if I can find it. There we go, grey. I'll put it in there, give it a stir. And then once again, just drag it up the foam. Doesn't matter if I go over the black because they'll merge and look, I think, quite good. There we go. So the tank is formally now taken out of action. There we go. A more grey to the top because that's how I think a fire should look. There we go. I say it's not brilliant. I'm not a professional, but for basically an investment of £1 from a boot fair, this has given me a lot of fun. I must admit, I really quite enjoyed this. So yes, there we go, my fire effect. Let that go off. Right, I fitted the track, bit of super glue, wondrous stuff. So with the track, I'm going to dry brush it. So take that off there and just give that a little bit of a feel of metal tank track. Not too much. That will do it, I think. And then just on some of these parts, just give them a dry brush to show a bit of wear and tear. I'm going to hide that section behind the hedgerow. I've decided I'll have one track on and one track off. You know, just a bit of a dry brush just to give it a little feel of metallic tanky thing. There we go. I think that's good enough. Right, let that dry off. Back to diorama base as I'm letting the tank dry. That's drying now. I'm not going to fiddle with that for the rest of the evening. I'm going to do the greenery. So I use herbs. They smell lovely. And PVA glue. So give that a good squidge. Then with a brush, just spread it over. And I'll leave a little bit of that like that. That's it. And I'm going to do a bit in there as well. There's a bit too much glue on there. Just put that in there like that. And then wash out the brush. Oh, just a point to note, I have specific brushes for specific tasks. They're all labelled. Yes, I should wear an anorak. Now I'll just take my herb and just gently drop it into position. Well, let's clear this up. I'm going to brush off the excess on the road. Just brush that off. I don't want that on there. That's it. Now I take my homemade scenery glue. Oh, crikey. Pipette. Turn it round as that bit was done first. very carefully drop it on there. Try not to put too much on. Just enough to make sure I get decent coverage. There will be spillages, can't be helped, one of those things. I could mask it, but to be honest, I quite like the effects it gives. There we go, make sure that's all covered as much as possible without making a huge mess. There we go. Now when that goes off, that will dry like concrete, that won't move. That's really good. So I go to the other side. Do the same again. There we go. That will dry really, really well. Excellent. Now I'm going to put the lid back on. You don't need that all over the place. And that goes back up like that the way. That I'm going to put in the bin. I'm not going to reuse that. Now for the excess, I'm going to take the cotton bud. I'm just going to try and soak it up, push it back onto the grass, whatever I need to do, because I don't want to fill my tank tracks up with this glue if I can help it. Very carefully thread the wires through. I might cut them off actually, because those ends aren't going to help. There we go. Put them in there like that. Lift it up if I can. Might be better to let this dry first, I'm not entirely sure. Just trying to get the wires, that's it. And then the scenery glue will grab the tank. That's what I'm hoping. Oh, we need a third hand. And I'm going to position it there, like that. Excellent. Just push it in there. Job done. Just leave it be. So I'm going to push this tweezers under there. Ooh. Oh, stop snaking about. And then hopefully get it to lay down. I think I may be hoping too much here. What I may do is use a bit of super glue on this. A little bit along there. Come on. Oh Christ. Oh crap, it's coming out in floods now. Stop, 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 stop. Oh. Right. Let's get that under the wheel. Or the wheels, or whatever we call them on tanks. That's it. That's it, that's brilliant. And stick that down. Like that. Take our cutters and just cut that off there. Come on. Cool. So the tank split, the tanks carried on going. Right, let all that go off. And then we can do the hedgerow. Finishing off how I do the brocage or hedgerows that are in Normandy. So I get some of this stuff, push it on to the cocktail stick that I fixed the first part of the diorama build. That's it, split it and just push it down as best I can, and then tweezers and whatnot. It's actually quite hard trying to do it this angle for the camera. Oh dear, that's all going wrong. Hang on, let's... Honestly, it does work, and unfortunately I've run out of the dark green stuff I was using, but I have to use different colours. It's only for me. There we go. So I use the cocktail sticks as a foundation, if you will. Get a bit more. I'm not covering the whole cocktail stick, and there's a reason for this, which I will demonstrate in a minute. We just push it onto the stick as best we can, like that. Oh, that's not gone on. Oh, cripes. There we go. And then I'll get some PVA and just push it onto the stick and let it run down. Like that. Then get some more and push it on top. And basically layer it on. Ooh, without breaking anything. If we can get it in there. There we go. Oh, it's not the best, but I'm only going down to this bit here. Oh, crikey. Oh, I've just moved the camera. There we go. Right, just push it onto the stick like that. I don't really want that in there. And once it's in there, run some PVA down the stick. And it'll soak in. Oh, cripes. There we go. I'm going to keep that hole clear because of the LED effect. There we go. A bit more at this end. Just trying to impale it onto the cocktail stick like that, but not cover the tank too much, which unfortunately is easier said than done at the moment. There we go. Let's try and get that around there. Oh, sometimes it's awkward stuff to work with. Bad workman always blames his tools, doesn't he? Oh dear. A bit more PVA. Keep it running down. And then just try and finish it off with a bit on the top to essentially hide the ends of the cocktail stick like that. There we go. But not hide up my exploding bit on the tank. There we go. And then scenery glue and just drop it all on top and let it flow down inside the effect. And hopefully that will all hold it together. There we go. I've already done most of the hedgerow, so this is just the last section. Unfortunately, I thought I had enough of the dark green, but I didn't. That's one of those things. Hold that all together, hopefully. There we go. So there we go. My version of a Sherman tank that's been on the wrong end of a German Panzer. I'll just turn the lights on for a little bit of... Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that, the way it looks, the fire effect. It's not superb, but I think it's definitely passable, shall we say. So yeah, very pleased. I enjoyed making that, especially as the model was only £1 from a boot fair. So, if you like the video, please like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers!